today I'll be showing you how to create a smooth zoom transition using just the transform and the directional blur node and DaVinci Resolve Fusion. So let's get started. So when you open your DaVinci Resolve project, the very first thing you want to do is we want to add an adjustment clip to our two clips that are on our timeline. So let's go over to effects library, type in adjustment clip, drag this in between our two timelines here. So let's make this 1 second short, and there we go. So now our adjustment clip is 1 second short. So just make sure to line this up. So it should be 12 frames to the right and 12 frames to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright. So before we head over to Fusion, if you want to save this transition to use in later projects, you want to save this in your Power Bin. So in your Power Bin, go ahead and create a bin. So actually guys, before I continue, me and a friend of mine, we actually created a transition pack where we include whip pans, zoom in, zoom out, and just all the essential transitions that you will need. And it's relatively cheap, so if you want to check out that pack, head over to our website, resolvepacks.com. The link will be in the description below. So yeah, let's go ahead and create our folder. So for the sake of the tutorial, I'll call it transition tutorial. Right, open it up, drag this adjustment clip to your Power Bin, delete it, and drag it right back again to your timeline. So the reason we do this is because DaVinci has some sort of bug where if you use the first adjustment clip that we made and we head over to Fusion, it tends to skip a frame or two. So this just best to, essentially drag the adjustment clip to your Power Bin first and then drag it right back to your timeline. So let's make sure this is lined up. Should be 12 frames to the right, 12 frames to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there we go. Head on over to Fusion. So in Fusion, press Shift Spacebar. Look for Transform. And directional blur. So we're gonna click on the first one, not the second one. Alright, so now in our transform node, what we want to do is we want to keyframe our size and along with our angle. So the size will create a zoom sort of effect, and our angle will spin our clip around and transition over to the next clip. So let's go ahead and keyframe first our angle. So the best thing I like to do is I want to head over to the 4th frame, press keyframe. So let's go over to the end. So just before the adjustment clip layer ends, we'll keyframe it at 21. So at 21, let's do negative 360. So let me show you guys what that effect looks like. So as you guys can see, it's spinning it to the right. Now, we have our angle set. The next thing we want to do is we want to keyframe our size. So in our size, we'll keyframe frame 0 at size 1. And then let's head over to size 11 and keyframe that to 0.39. So you guys could tell that there's a lot of gap in between our clip here. So to fill that in, you could just head on over to edges and click on mirror. So that's going to add a mirror effect where it essentially makes your clip look like it's full. Now we're not gonna leave it like this. That's where the directional blur comes in handy, where it's gonna blur everything out and you're not gonna be able to see all of this going on in the background. So let's go ahead and finish our keyframes for the size. So now let's head over to, let's say, frame 22, and let's keyframe that back to 1. So you could either type in 1 or just press the circle underneath here to set it back to the default. And let's play that, see how that looks. So as you guys can see, we have our beginning of the spin zoom effect. Alright, now let's head over to our directional blur. Now in our directional blur, we don't have to worry about anything else, but we want to focus especially on our length. So let's do the same thing we were doing with the transform node. So for this one, I'll start at frame 6. And let me increase the length. Actually, no, let me just keyframe that to 0. And let's go to, let me see, frame 11. Yeah, so just before the clip, just before transition over to the next clip, let's keyframe that and let's add a let's add a blur of, let me see, 0.7. 0.7 be good. Let's make it 0.8. Let's see how that looks. 0.84. Alright. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, and then let's go back, let's go to the frame 17. And let's just keyframe that right back to 0. So let's see how that looks. Alright. It's looking beautiful so far. So a couple more steps we have to do. So let's go back to transform. And in transform, let's go to settings. And we want to add a motion blur. So now let's take a look. Boom. So that looks beautiful already. So let me just let it play and let me show you guys how that looks. Yeah. So you could decide to increase how much of a motion blur you get, or you could decrease. It just depends on your preference. But for this sake, let me leave it. I'll leave it at 5. That's perfect right here. All right. Now the next step you want to do is open your spline tool. So that's gonna essentially make your transition look way more smoother than it already is at the moment. So let's go ahead and drag this out. So we'll focus on the transform first. So in our transform, let's highlight all of these and just press F, and let's take a look how that came out. So you see, it's much more smoother than before. So for folks that are familiar with Premiere Pro, so it's like a ease in and ease out when you use the keyframe tool. And let's do the same thing here for directional blur. And press F. Let's take a look. And that's all there is to it, guys. This is how you create a smooth zoom transition effect on DaVinci Resolve. So now you could essentially play around with this and make it way more perfect, but for the sake of this tutorial, I think you guys get an idea of how to make this transition. So let me go ahead and save this to our power bin, and I'll show you guys how to use it for other projects. So let me save that as smooth zoom. So drag this to our file. Now if we open up a new project, so I won't save it, so don't save. Create. And head over to transition tutorial, and look, it's still there. So you could apply it to your timeline as you see fit. And that's all for today, guys. So again, as stated before, we did create a transition pack. So if you guys are interested, feel free to head over to the website and take a look at the contents that we have available. And let me just say that the transition pack that we have out, it's relatively affordable, and the packs are being updated weekly. So I can show you guys a few things that we have in the pack so far. So we have a blur transition, whip pan, smooth distort, and also a zoom in and zoom out. Oh, one thing I almost forgot to mention, guys, is that when you're making these transitions, make sure that, well, it depends on your system, by the way, but make sure that you work on the proxy of a quarter resolution. That essentially makes the clip or the adjustment layer runs much more smoothly than it would if it wasn't on a proxy mode. So that's all for today, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and yeah, watch out for future contents in the future, guys. Take care.